The Soul is China's attempt at working collaboratively with Taiwanese filmmakers and trying their hardest to let them be creative, but ultimately remembering that China and films need regulations. An interesting sci-fi mystery thriller based on the novel Soul Transfer by Bo Zhang, this is an almost there movie. And if it wasn't made with any Chinese interference, this one could have been a modern classic. Hi, I'm the Artie Dance from Asian Film Fans, and welcome to this review of the Taiwanese-Chinese co-production sci-fi mystery thriller, The Soul. Note that there will be some spoiler talk, so as usual, watch out for the watermark and skip that section. Alternatively, you can use the chapter functions this YouTube video has to skip that bit. Set in 2032, a rich man, Mr. Wang, riddled with cancer, is found murdered in his mansion. He runs a company that's been conducting something called RNA operations, which involves the insertion of healthy proteins into a cancer patient's brain in an attempt to destroy their brain cancer. Prime suspect in the murder of Mr. Wang is his young wife, who stands to inherit his entire fortune, including the control of his company. However, a secondary suspect, Mr. Wang's estranged son, is ultimately convicted of the murder by the prosecutor, himself suffering from brain cancer. After it's discovered the evidence had been tampered with, the true suspect of the crime is revealed, only for a series of further twists to be uncovered as the true nature of the company's RNA process is detailed, and the private lives of all suspects and victims are brought out into the open, raising further doubts in the prosecutor's mind. This movie is a very curious blend of sci-fi and thriller elements. Set in the future, there is a reimagined idea of what the world will look like. And as you'd expect, technology plays a heavy role. For those who love movies like this, that explore hypothetical future tech incorporated in a realistic scenario, are going to like what's on offer here. From the huge curved screens, to the reliance on the accuracy of speech to text, to even a reimagining of the Minority Report style monitors that the officers use to explore their evidence, there's something here for the technophile to get you excited about future tech. But the more exciting and fantastical bits is the advancements of cancer research and cures. Purely in the realm of sci-fi, nothing is ever explained in too much detail, but it's an exciting concept nonetheless. Of note in the movie is the performance of Taiwanese actor Chang Chen. His filmography is an impressive collection of Chinese classics such as Brotherhood of Blades, Red Cliff, and Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. He has worked alongside some big names and has been directed by geniuses like Wong Kar-wai, John Woo, and Liu Yang. His performance in this film is faultless. The problem actually lies with his character, the prosecutor of the case, and the conflict of interest that arises in several circumstances that should have resulted in him being removed from the case. First is his cancer, which can and does riddle him incapacitated at several moments in the film. The second comes with the fact that his wife, played by Janine Chung, who is recognizable from films such as Detective Chinatown, Knockout, and action series Black and White, is the lead detective on the case. Surely that's a major conflict of interest, but these aren't the worst of the film's problems. If you're a sucker for future technology, then there are elements on display here that will be of interest, especially in the medical field. Luckily, the technology doesn't take over. Story-wise, the first half of the movie is rock solid, and then it grinds to an agonizing halt as the killer is jailed. Then the movie shifts from the murder case to our prosecutor's cancer, and then shifts back to the murder case in the final third of the movie. That section where it focuses on his cancer, that's the slow bit that took me out of the flow of the film. Character-wise, on top of the solid performances from Chang Chen is the memorable character of Mr. Wang's wife, played by An Ke-sun. There's quite a lot of backstory and development with her character that's handled in great detail, and the dual characters that fight for dominance at certain times in her body are played with clear enough distinction. That might sound vague, but you'll understand when you watch the film, or if you have watched it. Before we get into the spoiler talk, I want to mention that until the ending starts to play out, this movie was a very captivating and thrilling mystery. Everything was being explained with great detail, and everything is well shot and edited that fully immersed me into the story of the film. Now it's time for the spoiler talk. Check out the time frame in the watermark to skip ahead, or use the chapter function of this YouTube video. A golden lesson for filmmakers in Taiwan and Hong Kong is, if you're crafting a thriller where one of the characters needs to commit a crime in order to achieve a favourable outcome, for the love of God, please don't enter into a funding arrangement with a Chinese studio. Reason? Because Chinese film regulations won't allow the satisfactory ending. It's a massive issue with Chinese thrillers, such as Sheep Without a Shepherd, The Whistleblower, and even movies like Gone with the Light, and it rears its ugly head here. Halfway through the movie, we come to learn that the prosecutor's wife, Janine Chang's character, has tampered with evidence to gain leverage over the perpetrator. As the movie plays out, we witness the prosecutor's strong ethical stance, a typical Chinese movie character trait. We then see how he decides to sacrifice himself to keep the secret hidden. In a normal movie, from any other country in the world, that would be it. In itself, that makes a completely satisfying ending. That's exactly what the audience wants. But that's not what China allows. She has to be punished for her crime. So she turns herself in, much to the frustration and annoyance of the audience, only then to be reunited with Mrs. Wang in prison, who it's implied has the soul of her dead husband transplanted into her mind. What's supposed to be a happy reunion/ending ends up frustrating the audience as we realise she left behind a newborn baby in the real world. It's an annoyingly frustrating and typical Chinese movie ending. And a strong and important theme surrounding homosexuality is played out very ham-fisted, with the characters in the movie not permitted to use words such as gay or homosexual, and the homosexual relationship shown in such a vague way that some parts of the audience might miss all the cues throughout. This is a really poor handling of an important part of the movie's storyline. Like most Chinese thrillers, if the movie ended 15 minutes before its actual ending, I'd be singing its praises all over the internet. But it doesn't. It has another poor, interfered with ending that doesn't completely ruin the film, as everything that comes beforehand is terrific, but it does make you question why you bothered to get invested so heavily in it. It's a borderline, as I've scored movies like Oversized Love with a thumbs down due to its terrible ending, but this just scores a thumbs up. Just by the skin of its teeth. If you've seen it, what did you think? Thank you for watching this review. Please don't forget to press the like button to consider subscribing to support our channel.